On the news, reporters mention that an epidemic is spreading through China, so the Department of Health has announced a quarantine. This new illness appears to be caused by a small worm-like parasite, so the public is calling it the worm flu. It isn't in the air like the common cold, it can only pass on to a new person through blood transmission. In California, Emma is still having trouble getting used to her new school and doesn't fit in, while her sister Stacy has many friends and even a boyfriend. After class, Stacy notices that Emma keeps staring at her crush Evan and offers to give him a ride home. Their dad and biology teacher Michael is the one driving, so the trip is rather awkward. Stacy keeps telling Emma to do dirty things through text messages, which triggers an argument. The girl's mother, who is currently in another state, calls them to check on them, and the conversation is tense between her and Michael. Later during dinner, Michael scolds Stacy for using her phone at the table. Stacy snaps and insults his attempts at being a real family when it's obvious that the situation with their mother is awful, so Michael sends her to her room. After dinner, Emma video chats with Gracie, who is having a special tea because her mother has been coughing right on her face. They watch a video of a sick-looking man getting into an elevator and biting another person, which rumors say it's a consequence of the worm flu. At that moment, a paper plane flies through the window and Emma opens it to find a drawing from Evan. She writes her phone on it asking for a call before sending the plane back through the window. Then she runs outside to meet with Evan, who is calling her at the same time. The teens share a sweet moment that is interrupted by Evan's abusive stepfather Bill, who teases them for a while before going back into the house. Then Emma kisses Evan's cheek and goes back inside too. She sees her dad and asks if things are okay with her mom, so Michael admits that things are tough because he just got a demotion. The next day, Michael gives a class on parasites, showing some nasty videos that teach them how to remove them. He's even brought a living larva in a jar and explains the worm flu appears to be a parasite as well. Some parasites take control of their hosts, which Michael proves by showing a video of a rat under the control of a parasite being fearless around cats. Evan compares this to zombies. Suddenly, Gracie starts coughing blood and runs away. Emma follows her out and finds her having a seizure on the ground. She calls for help and a boy comes over to watch over Gracie while she runs to find the school nurse. Suddenly, Gracie stops moving only to then throw up a bunch of blood on the boy's face. Moments later, a government agent gives Emma a checkup and asks about Gracie's habits lately, so Emma explains that Gracie's mom recently came back from San Francisco. In the end, classes are cancelled while the military surrounds the town to be sure nobody leaves or enters. Michael learns his wife is stuck in the airport and can't get a cab, so he'll have to go pick her up. The sisters hitch a ride to go home and notice some neighbors getting ready to leave town. At home, Emma sees on the internet that California has officially been declared infected and that the parasite is mutating quickly. She tries calling Gracie, but she only gets the voicemail. Suddenly she hears a weird noise and looks out the window to find a deer in the garden, but when a noisy helicopter flies by, the deer just disappears. At that moment, Michael calls the girls to tell them they've closed the roads and he's stuck, so he won't be going home soon. He's heard the whole county's going under quarantine, thus he wants his daughters to stay home and not invite everyone. In the evening, Emma is changing and gets a text from Evan saying he can see her through the window, but the teens just use the chance to flirt shyly. Then the sisters notice they don't have much food left, so they make brownies to eat while watching the president's latest speech. He promises that they'll contain the parasite effectively if everyone follows the protocols accordingly. When Emma goes to the kitchen, she hears a weird noise outside, so she approaches the door and looks through the mailbox, only to get startled when a shadow moves. Emma is scared, but Stacy thinks she's exaggerating, thus she opens the door to reveal there's nobody outside. Then someone jumps out to grab Emma by the neck and makes her scream. However, it's a prank Stacy planned with her boyfriend CJ. A disapproving Emma reminds them of Michael's rules, but the couple ignores her and runs to Stacy's room to get dirty. Meanwhile, Emma checks social media and sees a post from Gracie's parents saying she's in stable condition. In the comments, she finds a video from a conspiracy theorist saying this is worse than what the government says. Emma can't hear the video well because the noises coming from Stacy's room are too loud. The next morning, Emma wakes up to the sound of CDC vehicles going through the neighborhood delivering disaster kits. The sister and CJ open their boxes to find field rations, a flare, a flashlight, a first aid kit, and masks among other things. A note tells them to immediately contact the authorities if anyone gets symptoms. CJ and Stacy don't take anything seriously, but their fooling around is interrupted by a call from the sister's mother, who is still stuck at the airport. Moments later, Emma watches the news and learns a bunch of infected patients have gone missing. Stacy announces that she and CJ are leaving for a party, ignoring Emma when she tries to stop them. After they're gone, Emma gets a text from Evan saying he'll see her at the party because Stacy used her phone to ask him. Now Emma has to break the rules too. The party is inside an abandoned building and full of teenagers drinking, but Emma is the only one wearing a mask. There's a sick-looking boy covering his face with a hoodie and strangely sneaking around. Emma finds Evan so they can dance and share a drink before looking for some privacy. Most of the rooms are taken by naughty couples, so they end up sitting in a bathtub. Evan tells Emma that he likes her and gets ready to kiss her, but they're interrupted by hearing Stacy yelling. It turns out she's in an argument with another girl and CJ because she found him cheating on her. While Emma tries to console her sister, Hoodie Guy grabs a girl by her jacket and another boy comes to her defense. Hoodie Guy drops the girl and turns around, revealing red eyes and dark veins that indicate he's infected. He then throws the other guy off with admirable strength and everyone panics when they realize Hoodie Guy is attacking. The sisters run to hide in another room and look through a hole in the wall to see everyone running away from the attack of the infected guy. Emma and Stacy stay quiet until they don't hear any more noises, and when they look out again, they see a girl trying to sneak out. Unfortunately, she makes some noise and the crazy guy finds her to immediately kill her. When he's done feeding on the body, the parasite can be seen peeking out of his mouth. The sisters wait for him to leave and they come out, trying to move carefully. Sadly, they accidentally kick a bottle on the floor and Hoodie Guy comes after them. Stacy pushes Emma away and Hoodie Guy spits blood right on her face. Then he goes after Emma, removing the mask when she tries to put it on. After some struggle, Emma manages to punch him to bring him down. At the same time, a parasite enters Stacy's body through her eye, but she doesn't tell Emma about it. The infected guy quickly recovers and tries to attack again, only for Dave to appear behind him and knock him out with a piece of wood. At that moment, the teens hear the police sirens getting closer, so they escape through the back door. Later at home, Stacy washes off all the blood. Emma continues to watch The Conspiracy Theorist and learns that people are going crazy all over the world, so he thinks the parasites can communicate with each other with a network only them can hear. Infected people often go missing because they gather to form nests. The video is interrupted by a message from the government reminding people to alert the authorities if they see any symptoms. Next, Emma tries texting Evan, but he doesn't answer and turns off the lights in his room. The next day, some army scientists scan the girls for any signs of the virus and ask them if they were in contact with an infected person, but they both say no. After the scientists leave, Stacy feels something weird on her neck and lets her hair down to cover it. On the news, they show how every street is empty and the military marks every house that they've been cleared with graffiti. At that moment, the sisters get a call from Michael, who tells them to lock every window and door and to get his gun. Before he can say more, the call gets cut. While the girls notice that the phone has no signal, the news inform that the Chinese government has started to bomb areas with lots of infected people. However, the news get cut too and an emergency broadcast appears to announce martial law has been declared. The sisters go looking for the gun and Emma finds her mom's wedding ring, proving things aren't well between her parents. Stacy finds the gun and shocks Emma by handling it pretty well, revealing Michael used to take her to the range. In the evening, a neighbor shoots his flare to ask for help because someone's infected. Emma tries texting Michael, but her messages can't be sent because the network isn't working. When the soldiers arrive, they drag an infected woman away while ignoring her husband's protests. Soon more and more flares appear in the sky, indicating the parasite is spreading through the neighborhood very quickly. The sisters decide it's getting too dangerous and leave in their car. Emma tries inviting Evan to come along, but Bill closes the window. Moments later on the road, the sisters find the road blocked by the military. Stacy tries to convince the soldiers to let them pass, but Emma calls her over when she sees a truck approaching at great speed. As Stacy runs back into the car, the crazy truck gets too close to the barrier and the soldiers open fire. Since they're distracted, the girls manage to get away and drive back to their home. The next morning, Stacy notices a bump is forming at the base of her neck but continues to keep it secret. A government vehicle does its rounds and announces that it's now illegal to harbor an infected human. Getting worried, Stacy heats up a pin and tries popping the bump, only for something to move under it and stop her. That night, Stacy says she must confess something, but she gets scared at the last second. Instead of telling Emma about the parasite, she shares that Michael cheated on their mom with one of his students last semester. Emma gets upset because she wasn't informed of this, but it's interrupted by Stacy coughing. Suddenly they hear Evan pounding on their door and begging to let in. Ignoring Stacy's protests, Emma opens the door and Evan rushes inside, quickly closing the door again while explaining Bill is infected. At that moment, Bill starts pounding on the door too and the three teens hold it closed until he's gone. While Stacy runs to get the masks, Emma looks through the peephole and Bill reappears to spit blood on the door. Then Bill runs around the house and jumps through the window, making the teens fall and drop the gun. He quickly recovers as the parasites move on his neck and come out of his ears, slowly approaching Emma. However, before he can infect her, Stacy retrieves the gun and shoots him dead. This causes Emma to have a panic attack, and while Evan tries to calm her down, Stacy drops the gun and it accidentally fires as she collapses. This is followed by a seizure and coughing blood, confirming Stacy is infected. Moments later, Stacy is locked up in the bathroom. Evan thinks they should hand her over to the soldiers, but Emma refuses to lose her sister. To trick the army, she goes outside and paints graffiti on her house indicating everyone inside is healthy. A few hours later, Stacy is begging for food and tells Emma to leave her before she hurts her. Emma refuses again and holds her hand, reminding her that sisters look for each other. Next, Emma starts researching how to handle parasites, remembering the video Michael showed them at school. When she needs a break, she sits on the roof and tries to use her phone, but there's still no signal. Evan consoles her as she cries because she thinks she'll never see her parents again. Meanwhile, CJ enters the house and looks for Stacy. He's learned that the army has left town, so people are leaving too, and now he wants to leave with her. CJ finds her in bathroom and holds her hand through the gap in the wood boards, only for Stacy to say he really hurt her and start feeding on his arm. Emma and Evan hear the screaming and run back inside to find CJ already dead. Stacy cries and apologizes for her actions, explaining the parasite forces to do these things. Afterward, Evan buries CJ in the garden next to Bill while Emma crushes a bunch of sedatives that she mixes into a meal. Then she feeds it to Stacy and even offers her hand to show she still trusts her. Once Stacy falls asleep, Emma and Evan unlock the bathroom and use the method they've learned in the video. The bump on Stacy's neck moves when Emma touches it, so she quickly covers it with tape to choke the parasite. The creature comes out for air and Emma catches it with tweezers to start pulling. To her shock, it's an extremely long worm and this is taking her longer than she expected. Suddenly Stacy wakes up, so Emma steps back and watches how her sister fights the worm, trying to control her. It even tries to hold her arm, but after lots of struggle Stacy pulls it out and Evan repeatedly steps on it to kill it. The next day Stacy is already feeling human again and Emma notices her neck bump is almost gone. Outside, an army truck announces that this area is now under official evacuation, so everyone must come out, yet Emma still refuses to leave because she's afraid of what they'll do to Stacy. Sometime later the army starts using scanners to find people hiding in their homes, which Evan hears on the radio. Meanwhile, Emma checks on Stacy and finds her full of worms, but it turns out to be a dream. At that moment Evan calls Emma to the kitchen to show her all their food is gone, and the bloodstains indicate Stacy was involved. Emma goes looking for her sister and finds her running away from the house, so she chases after her with Evan. They follow her into a neighboring house, where they find a dead family. Judging by the father's gun, he killed the others before self-deleting. The duo follows bloody footprints on the floor and enter a storeroom, where they're shocked to see a nest of infected people standing around Gracie. She's on the ground extending her worms towards the others. As Gracie opens her eyes, Evan and Emma try to step away, only to accidentally hit a toy and alert the infected ones of their presence. The duo immediately runs away as the infected people chase after them, even appearing outside the house. They run upstairs and try to close a door, only for an enemy to push back, so Emma shoots him. After Evan throws some furniture to block the door, Emma finds Stacy, who can't stop hearing the parasite's voices telling her to kill her sister. A crying Stacy begs Emma to delete her, and at first Emma refuses. However, Stacy suddenly transforms and tries attacking Emma, who immediately shoots her down. Emma wants a moment with her sister, but the infected ones are breaking down the door, so Evan forces her to escape through the window. As the duo climbs on the roof, they discover the military is bombing the area. They decide to jump into a swimming pool, allowing the water to protect from the explosion at the last second. Emma and Evan wait underwater for as long as possible, and when they finally resurface, they find their town in ruins. Sometime later, the duo reaches the barrier on the road and discovers all the soldiers are gone. They stop at a gas station and Emma finds a family picture on the window. It was left by her dad with a note telling his daughters to meet him and their mom at their uncle's house in Washington. Emma and Evan then steal a car and share a kiss before they leave. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.